a minute, and I'm going to say that I'm going to start with 2 observations and 3 ground rules. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
I don't know what 2 observations and 3 ground rules is, but I did go to school in Northwest Iowa, so I'll just throw that out there. 2 observations. First of all is when people are really nervous, I think we all put on some kind of armor, right? When we're really nervous, we sort of like armor up. My armor happens to be glitter and heels, so that's what I got on tonight. And second thing is, it's really cool when your kids grow up and they become your friend. And I found out tonight definitively that that has happened. My daughter Emily's in the audience out here, hey Em. And when we were getting ready earlier, she looked at me and she went, Mom, I'm so excited. Oh, Mom, you got some like greenery in your teeth. You need to get that taken care of. And so, I mean, that is a true friend right there, right? That won't let you come up on stage and she'll take care of that for you. So, and then the 3 rules that I've got for you tonight. Rule number 1, I want you to remember this is not a sad story. This is a story filled with beauty. It's a story filled with hope, and I'm excited to share it with you tonight. Rule number 2 as well is that it's okay to laugh at some points in the story. In fact, I'm really hoping that you do, otherwise I wasted a whole lot of time on trying to put a couple of jokes together here. And rule number 3 is I want you to promise me that at the end of this evening, you will agree to take away at least one nugget of wisdom or humor or some sort of beauty from any one of these 10 speakers tonight, and you will use it to make the world a better place. Can you guys do that? Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. Over the last 4 years, I have become really good at smiling. I feel like Buddy the Elf sometime, like, I love smiling. Smiling's my favorite. I'm a good smiler. And there's so much to be thankful for. Why wouldn't I smile? I mean, Sioux Falls is a wonderful community. South Dakota is fantastic. In fact, got a friend in town right now, hey Haley, and driving her around last night, and I really opened my eyes to how beautiful our city is. Open your eyes and take a look at that sometime this weekend. Just look around. It was really fun to show her around last night. You know, there's so much for which to be grateful. So you'll ask, how are the kids? Good. How's business? It's good. How's life overall? Good. Yeah, no, things are good. Things are good. And for the most part, they really are. Like I said, there's so much to be grateful for. But sometimes that hasn't been fully authentic. Now, I love to share things about my family's life on Facebook. Like, who doesn't? You might call me an oversharer if we're friends on Facebook. I'm sorry about that. But I love to talk about my 4 kids and our life and our family and our super cute dogs. And, like, I just love to share all that stuff. How we go hiking and we love to travel and we make sprinkled pancakes on Sunday mornings. Those things are a huge part of my family's life. They're true. But there's something else that's true, too. Some of you know about my youngest daughter, that she came into my life for the first time, came into our family's life when she was about 18 months old. For at least the last 4 years, my little one has been fighting a debilitating illness. And I haven't talked about that. The illness has left some really ugly marks on her arms and on her face, but it's really been eating at her from the inside. Suppose I should have told you about it. I could have told you about it. I mean, South Dakotans, we're wonderful. When we find out that something is going wrong in somebody's life, we come together, we rally around them. If it was childhood cancer, for instance, I mean, you guys would, like, you'd put us on a prayer chain and a meal train, and you'd be bringing over a tater tot hot dish with tin foil over the top, bake it 350 written in a Sharpie marker on top. You know what I'm talking about. You've done that before. P.S. If you want my address later, I really do love tater tot hot dish. We would do that because we're South Dakotans, and that's how we come together. But my little one, she doesn't have a childhood cancer. My little one's battling mental illness. I do want to backtrack a little bit and say I'm not like trying to downplay childhood cancer, not by any means. I've been a part of the Cure Kids Cancer Radiothons for years, and I've even put together some of those hero stories. There are hero kids in our community, and we love to rally around them, but people don't make hero stories. They don't talk about kids with mental illness. When I was putting together a story for tonight, and I had a totally different one prepared, but I was driving in the car and I kept feeling this tug that this is the one I was supposed to talk about, and I was immediately scared. I can't talk about that. I can't talk about this little girl and her mental illness. Are you kidding me? And finally I thought, maybe the reason that, or maybe the fact that I think I can't talk about it is exactly the reason that I need to. Kids with mental illness, that's not even a thing we dare talk about or breathe about. There's still so much stigma that surrounds it. And so we don't talk about it, and we think we can't talk about it, and I don't even know how to talk about it. You guys, I don't know how to describe what it's like when you see anxiety take over her body so fully and completely in a moment that she drops to the floor and crab walks backwards with the feeling and look of terror on her face. I can't describe to you what it's like when you can see her trying so hard to get away from it that she claws at her arms, or when she screamed so long for 2 hours that the capillaries in her face burst from the intensity of her rage. It's unbelievable. She's been with us now for off and on 4 years, and still, once in a while, when somebody comes to the door and the doorbell rings and the dog barks, she still runs and dives under a bench out of fear. So we've tried to get her help. She's seen the same therapist weekly for months and months and months. We've gone to the doctor. We're such a diagnosis society that you might be going, well, what is it? What's wrong, and how can you fix it? And we don't know. The brain is such a vast, expansive thing that we just don't yet understand. What we do know is that after 4 years, our love and our incredibly cute dogs and the sprinkle pancakes on Sunday mornings, they're just not enough. No matter how much love and stability and time we give this little girl, what we're doing is not helping her. Just yesterday, we went through the initial assessment process at Children's Home Society. Some friends and I have talked about how this story would have been different had I told it last week, and I know it'll be different when I tell it next week, but this is where we are today. It was recommended that we strongly consider an assessment at CHS, and I thought, okay, fine, absolutely, right? I mean, your child is sick, you want to give them the best medical help you can get. What do we need to do? Is it like a half-day long test? It's not a half-day long test. An assessment at Children's Home Society is a 45-day inpatient treatment. 45 days that I can't tuck her in at night, or sing her song at bed, 45 days that we can't go on little trips together. It's rough. It's big stuff. And so yesterday she entered the hospital for treatment. But again, I want to share this is a story of hope. Still, there is something irrevocably jarring about filling out a PTRF. Now, what in the world is a PTRF, you ask? Because I didn't know 2 weeks ago either. A PTRF is an admission form, a consent form to enter someone into a psychiatric residential treatment facility. Big stuff. Big stuff. It's the hardest decision I've made in my life. It felt a little like giving up, and if you know me, you know that I don't like to give up on anything. But a friend of mine was walking us through this decision, and she said, if she had a broken leg, you would not continue to put Band-Aids on it every single day, and at the end of the day go, you know what, she did pretty well today, she didn't limp too bad. No, you would take her to a doctor, right? You would get it fixed. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, and yet why is it that there's still a stigma surrounding mental health? I know there's going to be so many people who don't understand, and my hope is that we can begin to talk about it a little more openly so that it doesn't become a taboo subject. Like, what about the unconscious biases that you may be forming about this sweet little girl right now? Like, if you're a teacher, would you be afraid to teach her in a few years? If you're an employer, would you consider hiring her when she's a teen or an adult? Because let me tell you, that little girl, she can empty a silverware basket out of a clean dishwasher like nobody's business. And cleaning windows, she's going to use up a lot of products. She might use a half a thing of Windex, but I can tell you that girl can work. She's got so many talents. She's beautiful. She's got a curious mind. She's challenging. She's wonderful. But I've tried sometimes to share my story with people that I hoped would understand. And I have found out quickly that, maybe they weren't the right person to share that story with. You ever done that? You ever shared your story with somebody and then quickly realized, oh, what did I get myself into here? I tried that a couple weeks ago, and I said, we're strongly considering Children's Home Society. And she said, oh my gosh, don't you think that if you bring her there, she'll feel like you've abandoned her and just left her there? And I thought, gosh, I haven't thought of that every moment for the last 2 months. But I am sure glad you brought it up now. Helpful. She said, I'm sure you feel like it's your fault. And I said, I don't feel like it's I didn't say it, but I was thinking, I don't feel like it's my fault. I feel like it's the people who made shit decisions for the first 18 months of her life and didn't treat her with the care that a tiny human should be treated with. She went on to say, I know it's different, but my little girl, she struggles with reading, and it's just so hard when you see him struggle. And I thought, it is hard, isn't it? Mine spit on us twice last week. She said that she wanted to burn the house down and that her skin was falling off. Different. Thank you so much for laughing at that, because we do. We have to find those moments of laughter. We have to find the bright spots because it hurts too much to hurt all the time. And also, when she's in hour 2 of screaming, I hate you, but she changes it to, I hate your house, and I hate your pictures, and I hate your watch, and I hate your favorite color, you have to go, that's original. And when she throws both fingers up and goes, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do it all day long, you think, where did you learn that? But points for creativity. And also, you've got that stick-to-itness that's going to help you in life. This little girl, she's beautiful, and she deserves the world. And again, I'm hoping that you're a safe audience and that you will take away not the sad parts, but all of it, the funny parts, the hard parts, the beautiful parts, and you will realize that she's not something different. She is pieces of all of us. She's pieces of all of us. And so also, when you think about those kids at CHS, I challenge you with that unconscious bias because I had to challenge myself on it over the last month. I always thought those poor kids at CHS, my goodness, they must have had parents who just, I don't know, maybe they gave up. Maybe they didn't have anybody who cared about them. I've learned instead, I know I'm running long here, I'm sorry, but I've learned instead, sometimes they've got parents who love them so much, they'll do anything in their power to get them the help they need. And they recognize that the problem and the illness is much bigger than themselves. I did say that I wanted you to leave with this. I told you this was a story of hope, and I want to be sure that that's what you leave with. So I titled my story Abnormally Normal because our family has settled into a new normal over and over and over again. First there was no baby, then there was a baby suddenly, then the baby was gone, then the baby was back. Oh, the baby sometimes has some rage issues. It's been a new normal to settle into over and over, but I heard once normal is setting on a dryer. Normal is not a descriptor for life. Now, life is beauty. I've got a journal right here. It has the word beauty on the front cover. It was purchased at Oh My Word downtown if you're interested. Phillips Avenue. You know, I write in it every single morning, and I'm committed with this journal to write something beautiful every day. There's no negative in this journal. I hope that my girls will take it one day and they'll love it. And the other day I wrote, there's always beauty for those who choose to see it. But some days it's really difficult to look beyond all of the ugly stuff. Once you spot it, your life has changed for the better, even only sometimes in incremental ways. Focus on that small spot of beauty, and the ugliness blurs, it loses its focus. There is so much beauty in this world, so much for which to be grateful. I hope when you leave here tonight, you find moments of beauty and moments of gratitude. I'm grateful, and thank you.